Now, disturbing new statistics compiled by a mental health charity show rising numbers of nurses, doctors, paramedics, midwives, police officers and firefighters are now seeking help with their mental health.
We're joined now by Liam Barnes, chair of the Laura Hyde Foundation, a mental health charity for emergency service workers. Liam, thanks very much for speaking to us. Is this largely the result of post-traumatic stress conditions that people have when they're having to deal with these emergency situations, help people, and then afterwards they have to come to terms with it all?
I think that's certainly a factor. I mean, they're incredibly stressful positions of work. They see things that the general public don't normally see. But there are other factors as well. We've got a culture, certainly in the NHS, where there is a fear of putting their head above the parapet a little bit. There's a fear of letting colleagues down. There's almost some bullying culture in there as well, which often creates a very alone situation for people. And then you've got the cost of living crisis growing for a role that is not particularly greatly paid. It doesn't have the greatest work-life balance as well. It's all really starting to become a little bit of a perfect storm, and that's causing a huge strain on those frontline staff.
In memory of the Navy nurse Laura Hyde, just tell us about Laura.
Well, Laura was essentially the perfect nurse. She's incredibly selfless. She was always the life and soul of the party. If you've ever watched the TV sitcom Friends, there was a character called Janice that had that annoying laugh. That was what Laura had, that you could hear across the other side of the hospital. But essentially, she didn't look after her own mental health. She put others in front of herself. And on the back of really work pressures, a fear that she was not letting colleagues down by not necessarily performing at the top level every single time, and fear of letting patients down and the public that she supported, she felt that suicide was the only way out, and that's certainly something at the Laura Hyde Foundation we're looking to change. Suicide should never ever be the only option for someone in their mental health at all. There are many ways that people can provide intervention support. There are many ways that people can provide proactive support within there, and that responsibility sits with politicians, it sits with management within the NHS, but it also sits with the individual themselves. But the stigma that stops people going to get that support is rife within the public sector, and that's what we're trying to do with the Laura Hyde Foundation. And today we launched a video on the back of World Mental Health Day called The Feelings. It's an animation video. We feel that it's so creative in the way that it's constructed that it will go and help people that maybe we found a little bit more difficult to go and sort of penetrate with the support offers that we have. So we're very excited about that, and we're already seeing some massive results.
And Liam, it may be that many of us just thought that all these emergency services had counselling already set up to help people and to talk through the various problems. That's not necessarily the case then?
No, it's not always the case. I also feel that we did a proprietary piece of research back in 2021 that asked about 1,300 NHS workers, would they ever take up an employer-based service? It could be the gold standard, it could be the greatest thing out there, but over 53% said they would never take it up because they don't want to have the fear of being struck off. They don't want to have the fear of being seen by their colleagues walking into the problem room. They don't want to fear that they've made the wrong decision by going into a job that's affecting their own personal life. It's many different combinations. So yes, there's not enough counselling or support, absolutely, but there's also a massive stigma of take-up.
Really interesting research. Thank you for telling us about Laura Hyde, the Laura Hyde Foundation, and the work that you're doing on World Mental Health Day. Thank you. Thank you, Liam Barnes.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you very much indeed for your time. Yes, a problem, of course, across all those emergency workers, and we wish them well.